Hi, I'm Heather Cole with Lodestar Solutions, and today we're going to talk about what is the ILMT tool and do you need it for your Cognos analytics environments. Now, many of you may be going, what is the ILMT tool? Do I need it? Why do I need it? We're going to cover all of that today. But before we get started, a little legal disclaimer. The rules within IBM and their licensing rules are governed by the Passport Advantage Agreement that you all have clicked to sign up for, and it constantly changes. So the IBM website is the best place for the latest and greatest information. And this webinar is not designed to be legal advice. It's merely informational and teaching you what questions you should be asking to protect yourself from an audit and making sure you're staying in compliance. Why do you need to understand the IBM License Metric Tool, which we will refer to as the ILMT? And the main reason is you don't want to fail an audit. If you have processor value unit licensing, which we'll describe in a minute, and you virtualize your environment, then you most likely need to have this installed. The other reason is we want to save money on your support renewal and licensing, and we want you to look like a rock star in your organization, and knowledge is always power. So first off, before we get into when and why you need the ILMT, let's talk about a processor value unit licensing. For clients that have a lot of Cognos Analytic or BI licenses, typically we see this around 400 or 500 users, they may have moved into a PVU licensing, which basically means you're licensing kind of the servers and the cores on those servers, as opposed to authorized users. We go into this in a lot more detail in the webinar that covers the licensing agreement, so you can get more information on that. We're going to stay pretty high level on the PVU today, but just know if you have PVU licensing, this could apply to you. If you have all authorized user licensing, and you can see that on your support renewal, then you can probably end this video and move on to the next video to educate yourself on upgrading your Cognos Analytics environment. But for those of you that do think you might have PVU, or you might be thinking about moving to PVU licensing, then we need to learn more about the IBM License Metrics tool. And this may be required to be installed if you have virtualized your servers. Now, most of our clients have virtualized the servers. Very few have physical servers today. So this applies to everybody that has that virtualized PVU licensing. And what it does is it's a tool that helps maintain an inventory of the PVU based on your software deployed. So it's monitoring how many cores you're allocating and using for the Cognos software. Now, if you've virtualized and you only use part of the server that it's virtualized on, for example, you have a virtualized server that has 32 cores on it, but you've only allocated, let's say, 8 to Cognos BI. That means there's 24 cores that are not being used. That means you're only doing a sub-capacity of that virtualized environment. And so that's what's going to govern if you were to roll up your sleeves and read the legalese. But basically what the tool then does is say, I want to make sure you're only using those 8 cores. And that's what IBM requires. It is a separate free download. Well, it's not really free, it's a penny. So virtually free. And you must order that from either IBM or a value-added business partner like Lodestar Solutions. Once you have that on your entitlements, now you can log into support and download that. It's up to you to know that if you need it, it's not in the download of the software initially. So when you first bought the software and you went to download it to install it, it probably was not there. And IBM's kind of changed the rules on this over the years. And if you're an older client, that's probably why you don't have it. How you can check this is grab your last support renewal bill and just see if there's a part there that costs a penny that's called the IBM License Metric Tool. If you do not have it, you do not have it installed because you couldn't download it. If you need help with this, just email us at services@lodestarsolutions.com and we can help pull your entitlements to see if you currently have this license. Now, what happens if I have PVU licenses and I don't install the ILMT tool? Well, the challenge comes is if IBM audits you, and we're experienced that a lot of clients are being audited by IBM, as is their right under the contracts. And what happens is if they determine that you have not installed the ILMT and you're required to, then it could become very costly for you. What will typically happen is they will require you to purchase the licenses that you're technically but not technically using. And typically that will not be discounted. It will be at list price. They could also potentially charge you back support. So you just don't want to go down that road. Now, here's where the numbers work out. As we gave the example before, where you had 32 cores on your server, you were allocating 8 to Cognos Analytics. And if you did not have the ILMT tool installed and they audited you, they could find you liable to buy the rest of the cores of licensing. So another equivalent of 24 cores of licensing. Now, depending on the server, what they do is they look at what type of server it is to figure out what the numbers would be. And again, we cover that in the licensing webinar that is part of this playlist. But the bottom line is it could be very, very expensive. There are a couple exceptions. Maybe you're going to fit in this. Very few people do. If you have PVU licensing and you're using the subcapacity on a virtualized server, there's an exception that if the ILMT does not yet provide support for your virtualized environment, then you might get a get out of jail free card. But you must subscribe to my notifications within the IBM support site so that when they do make it available, then they can notify you. We're finding that most environments, the ILMT tool now is supported, so you would be required to have it. There's another get out of jail card that you might be able to play, and that is if your enterprise has fewer than 1,000 employees and contractors worldwide. I don't know about you. I don't know how you count all your contractors. Is it like each person that actually comes on site? I mean, a plumber could be a contractor, right? So it's a slippery slope on how that would be counted. So if you're under 1,000 employees and contractors, you're not a service provider, you have not contracted with a service provider to manage your virtualized environment, and the total physical capacity of your servers with the virtualized environment, if you counted all of it, the full capacity, it would be less than 1,000 PVUs. That's not very much. If your servers are rated at 100 PVUs per core, that would be only a 10-core machine. So I think my laptop might be more than this right now. So very few clients are falling under this exception. Now, the other exception for the ILMT is on Express users. So if you're on Express 10.2.2 or higher, you do not need the ILMT tool installed. Again, check with the IBM website. These rules can change. So what is the cost of the ILMT license? We've told you it's basically almost free. It's a penny. We can add that on your renewals, or we can order that separately for you so that you can download it. But there is some cost either internally or externally for installing it. You will need to put it on a separate set of servers so it can monitor your Cognos servers, and it's either your internal resource time to do it, or if you need help installing this, which a lot of our clients do, you can contract with Lodestar Solutions to help you install that. And we can give you a quote on that. Just reach out to us at services.lodestarsolutions.com and we can help you out. So now you might be thinking, well, why the heck didn't IBM tell me about this? And the real reason is it's evolved over the years, and a lot of sales reps until recently didn't know about it. Now, here at Lodestar Solutions, we've been blogging about this for a number of years. And if you go to our website and you just do a search on the blogs of ILMT, you're going to find all sorts of great, valuable, detailed information with links on where you can go to find even more information on this. But the bottom line is a lot of them didn't know. And they should tell you. I've been arguing that IBM should just automatically include this in the download when you buy the software. Would love you guys to support me on that. Tell IBM that they should include it, and maybe we can get some changes made. But right now, it's your responsibility as a client to read the fine print, I guess. And that's why I'm warning you today. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about your unique environment. When you work with Lodestar Solutions, we do provide a free customized discussion about your IBM licensing, including the ILMT tool. So just reach out to us. It takes about an hour. We can pull your entitlements, see if it's on there, and also help guide you in that installation process. What are the next steps? Number one, you want to assess if you are required to have the ILMT. If you do not have PVU licenses, don't worry about it. You can move on to our next video. If you have PVU licenses, whether it be Cognos Analytics or Cognos Planning Analytics, formerly known as TM1, then you want to go look and see if you meet any of the exceptions. I'll just be honest with you, very few people do, so you might want to make sure if you virtualize your environment that you have this. You might already have it. You can check that by your support renewal bill. If you don't have it and need it, just reach out to Lodestar and we can help you get that entitlement. Like I said, it costs a penny. And then you need to assess if you need assistance with the installation, which Lodestar can help you with that as well. And the next step then is to download and install the ILMT tool in your environment and make sure that you will pass an audit in the future. If you have any questions, please reach out to Mike Bernache. He heads up our services team, or feel free to contact me directly at sales@lodestarsolutions.com or give us a call. We are here to help. And then please move on and watch the rest of the videos. Hey, it's Heather with Lodestar. I hope you really enjoyed that video and found it useful. We have more videos and we're going to continuously add even more videos to this library. But for you to know about the new videos, you need to join our mailing list. So please join our mailing list today so we can inform you. And we'd also like your comments on this video. Just go ahead and add them here in YouTube. And also send us an email and let us know what you're struggling with so we can add more value to your upgrade.